All right. Hello. Welcome. We are live here at artbeads.com today. And I have a special guest. I'm joined by Deb Floros. Hello, Deb.
Hello. Hi, Art Beaters.
Yes, hello, Art Beaters. It's so good to do a live with you. So we met officially in Tucson this past year.
Yes.
And oh my gosh, that was such a fun time. So I'm so glad we get to collaborate today. It's going to be a fun show. So you may have noticed that Deb is now a guest designer at artbeads.com, which is so exciting. Yay. We've got a whole blog post over on the website that I've linked to where she answers some questions from us and talks about how she got started. But we can kind of do that here too, Deb, if you want to introduce yourself and talk about how you got started with making jewelry and all of that. And people are saying hi. Julie Peterson is here. She says hello. Hazel is saying hi. And Vicky is saying hello. Hi, everyone. All right. So introduce yourself, Deb.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me, Becky. It's very exciting. So I'm Deb. I have been making jewelry for very close to 15 years now, and I started selling my jewelry probably about 13 years ago.
Wow.
And it was one of those things I just kind of fell into the obsession, which I think is what happens to all of us. You just kind of go in and then
go down the rabbit hole.
It totally hooks you.
Yes.
And it just gets worse and worse and worse.
Or better.
Yes, depending on how you look at it. Like, I now have an entire room full of beads versus I used to be able to carry my bag of beads to the bead shop, and I can't do that anymore.
That's awesome.
But I have a brand. My brand is Deb Loves Jewelry Designs, and it's LUVS, which is now the proper spelling of loves, by the way.
Official.
Yes. And I'm on all the social media platforms, so you can usually find me as Deb Loves Jewelry Designs or Deb Loves Designs. And I think the only exceptions are on YouTube, I'm Deb Loves Jewelry. And on Pinterest, I'm Deb Floros. So
perfect.
So you can find me in all those places, and
we've got links in our blog too for finding her everywhere. So that's great.
I would love for people to come follow me and like me and thumbs up me and all those things.
Yes, you guys have to, because Deb makes some amazing jewelry. It's always so inspiring. So definitely follow Deb if you aren't already. Marisol's here and she says this is a match made in heaven. Yay!
Marisol. Love Marisol.
I love Marisol too. We love Marisol around here. She's
everyone does.
We got to hang out with her in Tucson too, which was so wonderful. So hello, Marisol. So what are you going to be showing us today, Deb? I'm super excited.
So this is a fun project. So I would consider myself, like, I dabble in just about everything with jewelry, but I think my go-to is stringing. And I would call this a stringing project, but a stringing project maybe on steroids, because there's a lot of pieces and parts. We're going to do a teeny bit of wire wrapping, and I've got a little, kind of finishing technique that might be helpful to folks. So it's a stringing project.
It's a stringing project with flair, with pizzazz. Yes. Really pretty. So you're going to be using an Art Beads Designer crystal blend today.
Love it. Yes.
And some fun sterling silver links, correct?
Yes.
Super fun. And some French wire, right?
Yeah.
That's something I haven't dabbled a whole lot with. So I think our viewers are really going to appreciate some French wire love today.
Yeah.
So should we jump in?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Okay. Deb's going to flip her camera, which is, I can then switch the view here. So I'll make myself the big one for now, but then once you get your camera flipped, I'll make you the big screen. And thank you guys so much for leaving your comments. So good to see you guys saying hello and all of that. So thank you so much. There we go.
All right. Just need to adjust just a little bit. All right, does that look good?
I think so. Yeah, we've got a good view of your tools.
So we need just a few tools here. Again, like this is not just a simple stringing project. You're going to need some cutters. You're going to need some flat nose, chain nose pliers, probably 2 pair, some round nose, and we're also going to use a bracelet bender, believe it or not.
Oh, wonderful.
So we're just going to use that for a tiny bit of assistance because we are making a bracelet. So I don't have the finished piece to show you, so I'm going to pretend like I'm showing it to you here.
Yes. If you do want to see the finished piece, we do have it on our website, artbeads.com. I've got a link in the video description. It is the Swirl Focal Bracelet that's on our website right now.
All right.
But we'll see it in just a few seconds. Well, not a few seconds, but
it might take a little longer than
yeah.
a few seconds.
Deb's really, really fast.
So I'm using 19-strand bead-along stringing wire, which you can get at artbeads.com. Also using just a little bit of artistic wire in 24 gauge.
Perfect.
Here's the packaging for the French wire. And this is the 0.9 millimeter in silver.
Okay.
So I'll show you what it looks like. It's just sort of fluidy looking wire.
Yeah, it feels nice.
Oh yeah, it's very silky.
Traditionally, I think it's used in like pearl knotting, right?
Yeah, that's I think how it got its start.
Yeah.
And I won't claim that I came up with the technique for this. So it was actually a designer from that's been around a really long time, and I picked that tip up, and I now finish almost all my necklaces and bracelets with that technique. So I'll show you guys how I do it. These are the Toho size 11 rounds. They're galvanized aluminum, and they're absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, I love that color.
And then here's that mix.
Yes, this is our Garden Glory bicone mix, correct? I think so. Yeah, really pretty.
Nice little package. I poured some out, and I've still got quite a bit left. We're only going to use a few for this project. So they're gorgeous. And I thought this color palette actually translated into other seasons besides spring. And this is the focal piece. So these are the sterling silver swirl connectors.
I love those.
Which you might think earrings maybe, but when I looked at this, I saw bracelet focal immediately.
I love that.
So
creative.
We're going to attach one bead in the center, and we're going to wire wrap it onto our components. And just to wrap up, like what else you'll need, I've got a tiara cast lobster claw and 2 7-millimeter jump rings.
Perfect. And we've got the supplies list at artbeads.com for this project. And I did want to mention that you can totally play around using different bicone blends that we have on the website too. Deb's got the Garden Glory one, but I think any of the other colors would be a fun variation.
Yeah. I mean, the sky's the limit here.
Yes.
So I'm cutting off just a few inches of my 24 gauge wire. I'm going to start with making our little connector. And I chose my favorite color for the bead that will go in between, this beautiful kind of hyacinth pink. It's absolutely beautiful.
Really pretty.
And let's see if I can get that in there. So I'm just going to do a wire wrap loop. And actually, I'm going to do my wire wrapping before I put the bead on. So I'm a terrible wire wrap loop person. I do it a little bit strangely, I think.
Everybody does it differently.
So I'm going to attach it to one of the, so you're going to be working on the solo end of your connector. And that's where we're going to attach and make it the focal. And then what we're going to do with our other end is add our beads and stringing wire. So just wire wrapping on the wire. And I'm sorry, my work table's going to make some noise.
That's okay. Sounds of a good time, right?
I appreciate that. Like,
Yes.
I love to watch the videos of people making things, and I hear the actual sound of the beads moving around and all
It's
that.
satisfying.
So just making a tiny little connector. So you're getting that just a little
just
taste.
a pop of color between your swirls there.
Yeah, and you might pick a different color. So you might like the blue bead or one of the other colors, but I like the pink. That's my favorite color. Yeah. It's kind of my signature color.
Love that. I noticed that I wear a lot of the shirt color that I'm wearing today, this like mauve-y pink. I think I wore the same color last week. That's my signature color.
That's your go-to.
The dusty rose kind of color.
Yes, I enjoy that color too. So we've so I've got to actually manipulate this just a touch to get them to be on the right side. So I'm just going to twist my loops around just a bit.
Yeah, and sometimes you have to do that when you make wrapped loops or simple loops, kind of get them in the right position that you want.
Yeah. So I'm going to grab that guy.
Oh, Diane says, this is going to be awesome. Yeah, it is.
So there's our little focal. And you can see the swirls are facing in opposite directions, which makes it really interesting and fun.
Cute.
So we're going to then do some stringing. And because I know sometimes watching stringing can put people to sleep, and maybe you need a nap, but maybe that's not what you came here for. So
it's like very meditative. It's like the ASMR of beading is stringing beads.
So I created two. I'm gonna make two in front of you guys, but something I did, which you can do this however you'd like, is I am going to make each strand different. So there's enough variation in the beads. There's enough colors that you can vary them, but you might want to use all pink crystals in one strand or use all green crystals in another. This is where you can take whatever creative license you want to take.
I love that.
And I'm a big seed bead person. So even though I don't necessarily identify as a seed beader, I do love seed beads and I put them in my designs quite often.
Me too. They're good for so many different things. You're weaving, add a seed bead. Definitely need seed beads for weaving. Stringing, seed beads, they just work in so many different ways.
Yeah, I find
even cross stitching.
Oh yeah.
If you don't want to make a French knot, just use a seed bead.
Absolutely. I use actually size 15s, believe it or not.
Oh my gosh! Wow, you're brave.
And I string them on just like this, which probably would shock you because I can barely see these, but I've got a feel for them, so I can actually feel 3 when I pick them up. Mm-hmm. I don't know how, but I just kind of do.
Just done it so many times.
Yes.
Muscle memory.
So this particular strand, so I had to size this for my wrist. So when I first put this together, I don't know, I think I strung on about, 10 of these crystals. And I'm like, wait a minute, this is way too big. I just got carried away with stringing. And so you'll want to, taking that focal into consideration, you'll want to make sure that you only string on as many as you need.
Yep.
And I'm using 6, and I wear about a size 6.5 bracelet.
Okay.
So
Marisol says, I use size 15s also. They're floor decoration.
yes, they are. I bent over to pick something up yesterday and I saw like 27 beads on the floor. I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to get
you don't want to know how many beads are on the floor in a crafter's house, right?
Especially when you have animals, like you just don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So there's my third strand.
Perfect. That was fast.
And then let's see, I've got now one that I can start with pink.
And how many seed beads are you putting between each of these little bicones?
I like trios.
So
yes. If you follow me, you probably recognize the trios. Like that's my thing. Everything's a trio.
There's something nice about it. Like it just breaks up patterns nicely.
I think there's some kind of like home decorating rule that it has to be like trios to be balanced. I don't know. I don't know if I believe in all that, but there is something very, I don't know, soothing
just
about
feels right. Yeah.
And I think too, if you go any more than 3, you probably want an uneven number. So 5 or 7 or something like that. So, so these little bicones are absolutely beautiful. They have amazing shine, sparkle. They're gorgeous. And the Toho beads just, ooh.
Yeah, they're great.
They're a perfect match. So almost set here. Purple. Then we got the light green.
I love those. Like they're just really great jewel tones. And between those Tohos, it really makes those colors pop.
And I think this color palette, although I thought spring when I first saw it, I think it could really translate into any season.
Yeah.
All right. So there's my last strand. So I'm going to go ahead and I've got these all wrangled up with the bead stoppers.
Yes, we love bead stoppers.
Because of our previous conversation. So what I'm going to do next, I'm going to finish this off from the spool. And I'm going to try and wrap up my wire just a little bit so that it's not causing me any trouble. And I'm going to, I pre-cut some of my French wire pieces, but I'm going to show you, just going to show you how I cut it. So
great.
This French wire is really delicate and a little challenging to work with. So here's a cut piece, and you can see it's not perfectly straight. It's a little wonky. And when you take it out of the package, it's going to be a little bit wonky. So we're going to do the best we can here to try and cut a piece even with the piece that we've got there.
Okay.
So I'm probably not going to use those cutters. Let me grab a different pair of cutters. So I'm just going to come right up and trim that off. And I've got 2 pieces that look pretty close to each other. They're not perfect. And you'll find that when you start working with the French wire that it sometimes has the little coils kind of covering the hole. So, and you probably can't see that, but just be aware that you may have to trim just a tiny bit off.
Yeah, because it's like a slinky. It's just little coils.
Yes.
But it will not bounce back like a slinky. So don't stretch it.
It will not. So, so one of the tricks is if you, and I'm sorry, I need some crimps here. Forgot to put my crimps out. If you if you get it, like if you pull on it by accident, it's going to stretch out and you're probably not going to be able to use it. So I'm putting my crimp tube on, and then I'm going to take that piece of French wire.
Okay, so crimp first and then French wire.
And sometimes like this piece has a little bit of funkiness, but you just kind of have to be patient. The 19 strand beading wire goes on really nice to this 0.9 millimeter
French wire.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
So that's, you've got your crimp tube, your French wire, and then I'm going to grab one of my ends and I'm going to push the wire through, and you want your French wire to loop around that loop. And then you're going to go through the crimp tube and go through that first bead.
Love it.
And you're going to pull that. Now you'll get to know this French wire well enough to know how much you want to use.
Okay.
That's the size loop. That's just a touch bigger than I would normally do. I'd probably go just a fraction less than that.
Okay.
But for the sake of this, oh, and we also need crimp wires for this.
Yes,
I forgot to show that. So I'm just going to crimp just like you would normally crimp, and be careful not to grab your French wire, because that will also crush quite catastrophically. So, and I love
the French wire in there because it's like, it's functional, but the spiraling of the French wire kind of like also mimics the spiral of your focals too.
Yeah, I think it just, so this is a way that you can, you know, sort of cover up the wire if you don't like the wire look. And sometimes if you don't have the same color wire, you can actually cheat and use a different color wire. And
oh, I love that, because like how many times I did that last week with crimp tubes. I didn't have the right color crimp tubes, but I had the right color crimp covers, so I just covered the crimp tube.
Yeah. So we're cheating a little bit, but
just being resourceful.
Yes. I think jewelry makers are kind of problem solvers.
Yes.
That's what we do. We have to find ways to make things happen.
With the resources that we have.
Yes. And sometimes, well, I don't know about you guys, but like, it seems like whenever I'm working on something and I think, okay, I've got everything I need, then I start putting it together and I don't have the one thing that I really need, or the right color of something, which is so annoying. You're like, I have all this stuff and yet I still don't have the right color bead or the right color.
Never enough. There's never enough beads.
No, never enough.
Yes, so, Marisol said, no stretchy, the French wire. Yes, no stretchy.
Be careful of the stretchy. So I've got my second strand on. So just.
Oh yeah, Vicky said, or one bead short. Yeah. Oh. How many times I've had to adjust patterns because I don't have the right amount of beads. But sometimes it turns into like a happy accident, like something better comes along because of that.
So here's a project or a project check here. So we've got two strands connected.
Beautiful.
So, and with the alternating colors. So I think that's kind of fun.
I love that.
So grab my crimp tube, another piece of this wire. And I've used the French wire now to finish jewelry projects probably for about 4 or 5 years.
I love that.
I really, and I've got it in different colors.
Yeah, I haven't really thought to use French wire in that way, but it's a really nice look. Maybe I'll have to start.
Yeah, it's now something I can't live without. Like, yes, it's just become part of my jewelry making routine. So.
Oh, Jen says she's loving your style. Yeah, you've got great design style. So wonderful. It's fun.
Thanks. I posted a little something on my social media earlier this week. It's just like a really radical, crazy bracelet that I made, and I can't explain it. I don't know where that came from.
Well, that's what's great is like you say you're a stringer, but you do these really unique things with the technique, which is it's so inspiring to see.
Thanks. All right, you need a lot of bead stoppers for this.
Never enough beads and never enough bead stoppers.
Yes. Sometimes those go missing too. Like
you
find those on the floor a time or two. So this piece of French wire here is kind of wonky, but it's still going to work. Still going to work for our purposes. And you could actually go through a couple size 11s if you wanted to. You don't need to.
Oh yeah.
But you could if you wanted to. You cannot go through 15s if you were going to use 15s.
Yeah. That's a little too tight.
That's a little too much there. All right. So we've got all 4 strands connected to the
Look at you. You're fast.
I am known for being fast, I have to say. And I'm still going to have to mess with this middle section just a touch. So all right.
Pretty.
So now we're going to make our clasp. And what we're going to do here is take those 2 strands and we're going to attach them to jump rings.
Okay.
And one end will just have a jump ring, and that's what your lobster claw will connect to. And the other is going to connect our little lobster claw.
Perfect.
So we're going to do the same thing. So I'm going to bore you a little bit with cutting the French wire. So I'm going to, and it's hard when it's wonky on the strand. So sometimes you might have to sacrifice it. So I'm going to cut off that end there. It's sad to see it go, but
yes,
but it's got to go. Like,
I think what Cynthia used to do with some of her wonky French wire is she really likes the steampunk look. So she would save those little bits and like use it embedded in epoxy clay with like gears and stuff because it has that wiggly look. So maybe that's a way to use your wonky French wire.
So believe it or not, I do save it.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I save just about everything.
Especially when it comes to jewelry components, because you never know.
Yes. You never know when you need that improvisation that we talked about. Like, oh, I know I have a little tiny piece of French wire stashed somewhere. So I've definitely got some size difference here, but I can fix that. But I've seen people use this as like a design element on a strand too.
Yeah.
So
yeah, there's a lot you can do with it.
Yeah. And of course you could use it for the traditional ending of your knotted pearls.
Yes.
So here's my jump ring I'm going to use for my attaching. So I'm just going to make sure that end looks good. That closure is good. And then we're just going to do the same thing.
More crimping.
What?
More crimping.
More crimping. A lot of crimping here.
Yes. It's a good technique.
Yeah. I know people struggle with it, and I feel like for a lot of years I did too. And then it just sort of happens. Like it just sort of comes to you.
Yeah. Just got to keep doing it. That's what I say about a lot of stuff.
Yeah. My Achilles heel used to be knotting.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, I would get angry. I would throw stuff. Like I would get so mad not being able to knot. And recently I was commissioned to do a knotted piece, and I thought, oh boy,
my gosh.
Here we go. And I don't know, it just came to me.
Good.
It came to me.
You needed it most.
Thank goodness, because it would have been a terrible outcome otherwise.
Yeah. There's a quote from the show Adventure Time where one of the characters says, sucking at something is the first step to being good at something. So you just got to keep going.
Yes, absolutely. And I do think if you just keep at it, like eventually that one thing that you are not good at or you struggle with is just going to come.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to come right to you. So putting on my crimp on the other strand over here, grabbing one of my wonky pieces. And fortunately, they're all so far going through pretty nicely.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to cut.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to grab my next one. So that one's a little, and you can actually get a little more precise with the cutting of that wire to make sure you don't have any length inconsistencies, but this project's fairly forgiving. So
yeah.
So that's our jump ring end.
Looking good.
So got that all cinched up now.
Oh, it's so cute.
I love this bracelet. It's so much fun. When I saw those spirals, I said, oh my gosh, I've got to make a bracelet with that.
They're a fun piece for sure. I love that you went with the bracelet too and not the earring, because the earring is the obvious choice, but the bracelet is so much fun.
It is. Okay, see, I've got one that's a little hinky.
Oh, so we have to cut.
And if you use flush cutters, you should be able to get a good cut.
Oh yeah, Tina says, I love that aha moment when you get something. Yes, it feels so good.
Yes. So I got to cinch up this other jump ring here. Get that guy solid there. Okay. Got my jump ring. I'm going to do just what we did. And then to finish it off, I'm just going to open that jump ring and attach my lobster. And I can see like all of those mixes working.
I know, yeah. I think it would be fun to kind of play around with the different bicone blend colors, because we have some beachy ones. There's like some more elegant, like black and white crystal ones. Ooh. That would be kind of fun. Just a lot of options there.
Yeah. And if you've got other connectors.
Yes, we definitely have lots of connector choices. If you want to try something different from the swirls, lots of options there. Just in sterling silver, we have other metals too that you could experiment with.
I love that.
I love the jewelry inspiration, because you have a piece that you can make, just with the supplies listed, but you could also put your own spin on it and go shopping and choose different things. So yes. Love the inspiration.
Yes. So I'm going to open this end up and I'm going to attach my lobster claw. Got tools all over the stinking place here.
Sounds like me. They're just everywhere.
Oh man. I've really been trying to stay more organized lately.
It's hard.
So every day at the end of the day, I try and clean up in here a little bit.
I'm currently looking at all the trays of stuff I need to put away in my office.
You don't really want to see what's behind me. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So one more thing we're going to do. So this is going to sit on your wrist. And this little...
Oh, Marisol's asking, did you use a closed ring or you used open jump rings?
I used open jump rings, but you could certainly use a closed on the end that you just used the jump ring. Or just the jump ring end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you'll definitely need an open one to attach the lobster clasp for sure.
So this is still a little bent from when I made the sample, but this is going to sit on your wrist. So I used a bracelet bender to just add a little bit of a bend. You don't need to do much. So I'm going to very carefully, being cautious of this crystal and being cautious of the other ends, you can kind of settle that into the center. And I'm just going to ever so gently
give a press.
Give a press.
I love that you used those because I think those are a little bit of an underrated tool. Super nice for making slight bends in something that you want to wear as a bracelet.
So these are not, you know, horribly, terribly bent, but they've got just a little bit of a bend to them. And it's just going to fit really nicely onto your wrist.
Pretty. Oh, that turned out so good.
I just absolutely love this bracelet. It's just so, it's
fun.
It's feminine and sweet and funky, all of those things.
Really pretty. Yay. Thank you for showing us that. Yeah, so the whole project is at artbeads.com. We've got a supplies list, and Deb even made a quick video, like a quick version of what she just did to show you how to make that bracelet. So you can find that on the Design Studio tutorial page. You can also come back to this video. It will be here after we're live today. You can rewatch to your heart's content. I'll probably add it to the tutorial page as well because, oh my gosh, it was great to see all the steps that went into making that lovely bracelet. So, so pretty.
Thanks.
Julie says she loves it.
Ah, thanks, Julie.
And Mary says, pretty bracelet. Yes, it is. It's so pretty.
Thanks.
So yeah, I think it'd be really fun to experiment with bead colors and maybe try different links. A really fun design that you could totally mix up or keep the same. It's so pretty, so fun. Love that.
And try some French wire, you guys.
Yes.
It just is a nice little finishing touch to your necklace ends or bracelet ends. And it's a little wonky to work with, but you'll get used to it. It'll come to you.
Yes, try the French wire. There's so many uses for it. Really great. I love that you showed that off. Landa says beautiful. Jen thinks it's beautiful. Yeah, it's great.
Wonderful.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Deb, for showing that off today. And thank you guys for watching. Wonderful demonstration today. Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Deb. This has been amazing.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Yes, anytime. We gotta do more of these. You gotta show us more of your tricks.
We will do that. We have more ideas coming.
Yes, we will. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. I hope that you enjoyed this time. Let us know if you have any questions. Love hearing from you. So don't be afraid to leave your questions and comments. And like I said, this video will be up after we're done here so you can rewatch it. Maybe order the supplies, come back and watch and make along with Deb. So really wonderful. So thank you so much. And I will see you guys next time. Bye. Thank you, Deb.
Thanks.